Hello, everyone. We are live, I think. Just so you know, we are having some storms here. So it may knock out the power, it may knock out the internet, but we're still going to try this. So if we do just drop, I apologize for that ahead of time. Hope everyone is doing well. Karma, good to see you. Catherine, hello. Maria, glad you can make it. We're going to give people time to drift in. If you are already here, hit the thumbs up. It helps out the channel a lot to get those thumbs up. The algorithm loves them. Violet Star, good to see you. Hey, Jedi. Got your espresso. Good to hear. Good to hear. Definitely got me a strong coffee. It's been a long weekend. I need it. Believe you me. That's okay. It's been a busy but good weekend. Laura B. Is it Lori B? Hello. Good to see you, Lori. But you got to expect that when you're having a good weekend. We have had some storms, which have been really nice. I love storms. Don't know about you all, but I do. Let's see here. We do got a few things we need to cover. Of course, if you're here in the chat with us and you're joining us, the chat can get busy. So if you want to make sure your question is seen, you can give us a super chat. It flashes it up big and fancy on my screen, so I see it and it holds it there so I can get to it for sure. Do keep it within the under 18 guidelines that YouTube kind of requires us to do for these live streams, which that's all fine and dandy here. We try to keep it friendly as best we can. Or if you just want to do a super chat to support the channel, please do. We always appreciate your all support, which does bring us, we are trying to get the channel to the point where we have enough channel members to actually, so that the members are supporting this channel in its entirety, and we can turn off ads as best we can. Some people saying YouTube don't turn off ads even if I turn them off, but we're going to try it anyway. So yeah, we are trying to do that. We are roughly halfway to our goal, I think, if I remember correctly. So I do appreciate it. If you all have been considering signing up for Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3, now's a great time to do it. Let's see, got some more people popped in here. Ash, good to see you. Arter, good to see you. Oh yeah, got me some good coffee. Got me some good coffee, Catherine. Yeah, you got to come to the coffee hour with drinks and snacks. Come on, people. It's a tradition at this point, right? Again, let's get those likes up. We got 13 people in here and only 6 likes. Been doing pretty well. Or Dragon, been doing pretty well. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well also. Jade, good to see you. And actually, Jade's made it here. Now would be a good time to point out. If you head over to workingdragonmystic.com or the Working Dragon Mystic School, which you can find links below, you will notice we have a workshop that is currently accepting signups. Yes, we have a crystal workshop accepting signups. There's a limited number of spots, and once they're full, they're full. I believe the workshop is next month, so you have about a month to sign up for it. Jade will be hosting the workshop. It will be a live Zoom workshop. Yes, there. Thank you, Jade. There is the link to the workshop. So we are having another live Zoom workshop over at Working Dragon Mystic. So if you are interested in crystals or learning more about them, I highly recommend popping over there and checking out the workshop. And now I'm starting to wonder how many times I can say workshop in 5 minutes, because it sounds like I'm using that word a little too much. But hey, you know me. So be sure to pop over there and check that one out. So we are still working on the evocation course. Many of you are very, very interested in the evocation course. We are working on it, and we are still on schedule so far. This weather has been knocking out internet and other things and giving us some issues here or there. I don't see it being a long-term issue. We'll just have to see how that goes. But so far, we're still on schedule, which is a good thing. Good thing. Mention that. We are officially, tomorrow is the Tier 2, Tier 3 spell work for channel members. Anyone who signs up tonight before the end of stream for a Tier 2 or Tier 3 membership can still be included within those workings. Just so y'all know. And I know I've already mentioned it, but people tell me I don't mention it. We do have an online school with courses over at workingdragonmystic.com. I don't know why people tell me I don't mention it. We do have a gilded community. That is also found in the videos or in the About section, and Jade can probably link that as well if she would be so kind. And yeah, other than that, give us some likes, people. We got a lot of people in here. Very few thumbs up. We need the thumbs up. YouTube eats it. It's feed the YouTube algorithm. Give us the thumbs up. All right. Yeah, sorry if anybody's been under the weather. That sucks. Hello, Trick. What's on the agenda tonight? Last week's Q&A was a great... last week's Q&A was amazing. It really was. I know I went on a few rants back there, but y'all seemed to enjoy my rants, so that was beneficial. Last week's Q&A was amazing. I have to admit, it was a great coffee hour. I actually wanted to start this week off based upon an email, a couple emails I got actually. People were asking me how I could possibly separate religion and spirituality from magic. They're one and the same. How can you possibly do that? You're a freaking nutter. Well, it's actually very easy, and I am crazy, but not for this. And I wanted to talk about that because this seems to be a sticking point for a lot of people. Hey, Saeed, doing good, mate, doing good. So the way I do it, and I focus my channel here as well. I do not focus my magic on anything spiritual or religious. In fact, I wouldn't view myself as spiritual or religious at all, personally. But my practice, the way I teach and the way I present information is based around results. See, when we are dealing within spirituality or religion, hey, Loveless, good to see you. When we are working with our practice, spirituality and religion often gives excuses for why something didn't happen. It wasn't in my greater good. It wasn't the highest purpose, or it wasn't meant to be. We've all heard these spiritual or religious statements as to why a particular spell or magic didn't work. And my particular argument to that is, if you set out to do something and you set out to achieve a goal in your life, and whatever powers that be are out there actually just smack you in the head and say, sit your ass down and behave, and you do what we told you, there's no shape, form, or fashion of any form of self-empowerment in this mindset at all. There's no shape of freedom in this mindset at all. And for me, that ain't going to work. Ain't going to work. So if magic is real, if magic works, then to me, we should be able to apply it based on results, not any spiritual woo-woo or any religious text or any of that other stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think spiritualism and religion has their place for many people. I really, really do. I know a lot of people who benefit greatly from it. So I just don't think it is the backbone or necessity of a magical practice, completely separate function. Now, because of that, the easiest way to do that is to step back, place all responsibility onto the idiot doing the magic, aka me, and focus on results. If I do a working and I don't get a result, I need to look at what I did. I need to try and figure out what I can change. I need to go back to square one. And I need to be willing to set aside my ego and actually focus on that data and actually focus on what I'm trying to achieve. Can I redo the working differently? Can I phrase it differently? Could I change the visualization to make it work in better ways? All these little things are things that I've done over the years to tweak my practice to get it to where I'm at. And I'll be honest, when I first started magic, if you ever told me that I would be teaching it for a living, I'd have laughed at you, hands down. but I did get there. And now I'm where I'm at, and I'm able to share. And thanks to the YouTube platform, I can get out there and reach more people. And so that's a wonderful thing. But I do want to make it clear the spirituality and religion, I don't view them as bad in and of themselves on an individual basis, but they are completely and utterly separated from magic. But in order to do that, instead of spiritually looking at magic, you have to look at it as results based. And that's where a lot of people have problems. They really don't like that. Because if it's results based and your spell don't manifest, you have to look in the mirror and say, I screwed up. I messed up. And the amount of people who do not like to fail, they don't like to accomplish something, they don't want to beat the level on the video game, it's sad. It is so sad. And failure is one of the best teachers. It really is. So we have to set our ego aside. We have to set our emotions aside. We have to set our triggers aside. And we have to be willing to fail. It is through our failures that we will actually learn the most. And then when that manifestation does come, oh, is it all the sweeter? It really is. So wanted to clear that up a little and get the ball rolling with that thought here. Get you all thinking, get your brains turning a little bit. Jeremy, is it normal to feel a tightness in your chest when doing the Dragon's Flame ritual? Actually, a lot of people do actually report this, especially when they first start out. I even experienced this, and even still do from time to time. What it is there's a large amount of energy that is being channeled through you during this ritual. That's the entire point of the ritual. And during that point, when you're not used to it, or if you're maybe not feeling your best or something, your body can react to that a little bit extra. So when you first start doing it, just because you're not used to the sensation, it will kind of give you that tightened sensation. It's kind of like jumping in a pool. You know, you jump in a pool, you swim around, it feels good, don't it? It's nice. But when you first jump in, whoo, it's cold. It is cold, 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 and your whole body just wants to. It's kind of the same thing. But once you get used to being within that energy current and working with it, that tightness eases up. Now, when you're having an off day, that tightness can return. Or if you're doing a working that ramps it up beyond where you're used to staying, it can still happen. But yes, it's actually perfectly normal. I'm going to pronounce this light mist. Hello, mugs up to you. Good to see you. Jedi, did I make you laugh? Call me an idiot. Maria, I completely agree with that. So true. By the pool. I'm by the pool. Hey, nothing wrong with being by the pool. We just had a full-on frog strangler happen out here, just downpour. Of course, they've had flooding over in Kentucky. If you're in Kentucky, I do hope you are safe and you're not caught in the flash flooding and all that. Scott, hey man, good to see you. Thank you, thank you. Still trying to work and get in shape. I've still, had a setback or two, but overall, still making progress. Haven't lost all my progress. So, I can take 2 steps back as long as it takes 5 steps forward. I can handle that. But yeah, I mean, we need to, what's this? One thing I'd add, and I go into more detail in Gilded, is that I've sworn personal vows of service to Hecate and the Crossroads, who value my approach and outlook to its results based. Yeah, I mean, many of the deities, most of the deities and entities you work with, they prefer a results-based agenda because, to be honest, they get a little tired of us blaming them. And let's be honest, look, if I sit down and I'm working with Odin, Hecate, Thor, Lucifer, pick an entity, pick one. If I'm working with them and we sit down to do a working, and let's say we're trying to increase my prosperity and grow the channel here. Okay. And I work with them. We do the spell working. I do everything the same as I did before the working. I just do the same old shtick and nothing happens. And then I look over and say, well, why'd you screw me? I just blamed them when I already told you in the description I didn't do anything on my end. Think about it. That is literally like calling your buddy up and like, hey, you know what? I got 4 trailers of hay I need to throw up in the barn. Would you come help me throw this hay up in the barn? I'd appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'll help you. Cool. All right, I see you on Tuesday. Tuesday comes around, you don't touch one bale of hay, and your friend's like, screw this, I'm not throwing hay by myself. And you blame them because you didn't show up. You need smacked with a sledgehammer. I've thrown hay, so that's the rude people. And entities don't like to be left holding the pail by themselves either. So we have to do something. So many of you've noticed I always try to tinker with things, try new things out. Some of you seen my technologically inept Tushy has been trying shorts. Well, I'm having a little fun with them. They give me a chance to make some random comments and stuff that I can't do in videos. Videos, I need to focus a bit more. But hey, I got to see the Kung Fu squirrel out here this week and got to share that experience with you all through the shorts. Nice little way to bring attention to the channel. It's something new I can do. Something new. Many of you are excited because we are looking at attempting to do a kind of roundtable recording of different myths and lore, where myself and some of the admin, like Jade, Halloween, my daughter, y'all know the crazy little squirrel, and hopefully maybe even get Bernaldus in on a few of these roundtables where we read a few stanzas from, say, the Havamal, for example. I think Havamal is actually the one everybody's wanting to do first. And not only do we read the stanzas, but we talk about them and our opinion of what it means and what it means to us on a personal level. Because Havamal is a great example. It is a book of wisdom. It is a book of wisdom that can be taken and read and has meaning to everyone in all points of their life. So that's something new we're going to try out. And hopefully it works. It's going to take us a while to get through the Havamal. Havamal is not overly long book, but at the same time, when you're reading the stanzas and talking about it, we won't be able to get it through in one video. But this is a little project we're trying. And hopefully you all enjoy it, because I know me and the individuals who are going to show up for the first recording are very excited about it. So, Justin, how to tell if the results are accurate? Your journals, people, your journals. Here's what you need to do. You need to track and make your requests specific. So I recently stumbled across a list of goals that I had done magic for. And I set this file back in a place where I literally forgot about it. And I tell y'all, once you do the spell, once you let go of the magic, you got to let it go. Just let it go. When I clicked that file open, everything in that file had manifested before the date was actually placed upon the, I put a date by. So I actually put dates on what I'm trying to achieve. And when I have like a big list, I usually give myself 6 months to a year to make changes and pursue these. And I always shoot higher than my expected. Okay. So one of the things that was actually on that list was to get this channel to 10K. Has anybody looked at the subscribers here lately? We passed that. So I actually wanted to tinker with this manifestation spell a little. And I mentioned this in Gilded. I'm tinkering with it, changing a few things out to try and ramp up the power. And one of the things that I've put down on the new list for this new testing is I want to see if I can get the channel to 20K. And there's another list of things on there. But I actually can't remember them because the whole idea is to place it out of your memory. But when you write it down, when you give it I'm going to come back and read it and see if it's manifested by date, then you can actually, if it's tangible, you can do it. Okay, let's look at my prosperity spell we talked about. I would actually ask my prosperity to increase to the point where after all my bills were paid and I was done with my expenses for the month, I would have X in the bank account left over. Now, when I first started this, that was a really low number. Don't get me wrong. That was like $50, $100. And every time I reached the goal, I've changed the spell to increase it. So I'm constantly growing it and rolling it up. And over a 2-year time, you could see just a massive jump, just huge jump in my financial well-being, we could say. So that is how you can track these things, if that makes sense. No, I'm a big believer in don't ask people to do things for you. Try not to delegate. Try to get them to teach you to do for yourself. That's one of my biggest things. I use evocation more often to learn to do things for myself. That's not to say I don't occasionally delegate. Y'all know I get busy. And if you're busy, if you're swamped and you need this thing done, well, go to your friends on the other side and say, hey, could you help me with this? And oftentimes they will help you in many ways, including helping free up the time so you can help them with it in the process. So, I mean, think of it like, you're asking a friend to help you do a chore. Don't abandon them. It's a teamwork. See, Scott, do you think that magicians that do the really crazy tricks like levitate or seemingly impossible things like working with entities? Wait, tricks like levitate or other seemingly impossible things like working with entities. I mean, I work with entities, I don't levitate, though I will say this, Scott. Every schmo who's contacted me with the power of levitate, the power of telekinesis, the power of pyrokinesis, all these fantastical abilities like that, I've got $3,000 in a bank account waiting for the one that can prove it. I have interviewed well over 400 or 500 of these individuals, easy, and not one of them's been able to prove it. Not one. I actually had one guy was claiming pyrokinesis, and what he was claiming was he could wave his hand and blow out a candle without getting near it. That sounds pretty cool until you realize this is his candle and this is what he's doing. Now, if you just hold your hand up real quick and do this like a Southern Belle, oh, Mr. Bowler guy, guess what? You feel that air? Yeah, that's air. So if I'm doing this, I'm blowing the candle out with air. There's no pyrokinesis there. So, yeah. Kevin Johnson, Tier 1, man. Thank you very much for your support. So here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing, because you're going to be like, well, are you saying it's impossible? No. If I thought it was impossible, I would not take all these trips, interview all these people and all this. I think it's possible. I have never met a human being that has unlocked that secret yet in reality. From what we understand of magic and in the hypothesis of magic, it is possible, but we don't have enough of a foundation to even move it over to theory yet in the terms of science, because a hypothesis isn't even a theory. You have to understand that. But we don't have enough data, proof, or anything to push it over to theory. So right now, looking at the patterns and concepts, hypothetically, there's a probability that it is a possible thing to unlock. So far, I've never met one person who's unlocked it outside illusionists who admit it ain't magic, it's an illusion, it's a trick. See Penn and Teller. Wonderful individuals, love their show. If you're ever in Vegas, go check it out. No, they don't pay me. God, I wish they did. Actually, take that back. Don't pay me. Just treat me to a dinner and let's have a nice intellectual chat, you guys. Okay. I can be bought for food. What can I say? So yeah, that's the only thing. I constantly do research and hoping to find something like that. I continually do experiments for myself in areas like that. But y'all know I'm results based. I'm data based. If I don't see the proof and if you can't repeat your results, it's your word against, well, a fantasy book. That's kind of a problem. And I know I catch a lot of flack for that. But at the same time, most of my students actually love the practicality in which I apply to magic. So there is that. And I mean, when we talk about entities, Scott, check out my video on whether entities are real or mental constructs, because that is a fantastic discussion that magicians have had for absolute years. And I love still having this discussion. In fact, in that video, I think I tell you all, when I first came to Magick, I actually viewed entities as mental constructs, a part of us that we're working with to encourage us, almost self-hypnosis to accomplish these things. But over the years, in the ways that I've worked with entities and the similarities that me and other magicians have seen, patterns that I've seen that were never taught to me beforehand, but other people confirmed later, I've slowly shifted more to the side that entities are real entities, not mental constructs. The funny thing about this entire argument and debate, and there can get to be some real mudslinging. There can get, seriously, there can, that people get upright offended. But here's the real meat of the entire debate at the end of the day. If they're a mental construct and you are getting results and achieving your goals and mastering your life, freaking fantastic. You keep being you. If they're real entities and you're achieving your goals, you're reaching all your goals in life, you're manifesting the things you want, you are living your best life. Also, groovy, you be you. See, as long as you're achieving the results, neither position actually matters. See how that works? But it is a very, very interesting concept. And Redcap, you do, well, yeah, there is a gray spot in there where it's like they are not just mental constructs. They're more of, we created almost an egregore. And then there's the debate, is an egregore its independent entity or is it a mental construct? So there is that also. You enter into a whole new debate to cloud the waters. But again, the same factor comes up, even if you include the egregore argument. If you're getting the results, doesn't matter. So if you haven't checked out that video, do, Scott. It's kind of an interesting video. And as y'all know, if you are getting the results you want in your practice and you're achieving your goals and you're living the life you want to live, or you're pursuing and making progress toward the goals you want, anyone tells you you're doing it wrong, flip them the bird, tell them to bugger off and leave you alone. You do you. The one caveat to that is, if what you're doing isn't working, step back, set your ego aside, and if another practitioner or magician offers suggestions of ideals for you to try them. See if they help in your practice. Give them a shot. Can't hurt. Because if you're not, I mean, yeah. Anyone who's ever worked on a car and spent the whole day and they can't get the damn thing to start, and that one buddy comes over and tells them the dumbest thing on the planet, and there's no way in hell it can work, well, you've already put 14 hours into this car, so go ahead, take the 5 minutes, try what he said, see if it turns over. And if it turns over, we learned something, didn't we? We learned something and we made progress in life. Try it. Let's see. I see them as separate beings. So as constructs, we both. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic discussion. I will sit down and have this discussion with many, many people. And like I said, these days I see them more as separate beings. I did not start there, but it's my personal experiences that moved me over there. But the simple fact of the matter is, regardless of where I currently view them, it doesn't change the results that are happening. And I think that's amazing that you and your, did you say boyfriend or partner? Boyfriend, can approach it and respect each other's views. That's great. We need that respect of views. We really, really, really do. And that's one of the reasons I have ground into this channel. We are results based, because if we're results based, that one commonality amongst all us crazy people brings us together peacefully in unity. Okay? Does that make sense? Because we got people from Ireland, we got people from India, I got people from England, I got people from Australia, and then there's my crazy redneck ass up in here, and we can all come together with a commonality and help each other. You all inspire me quite often in here. So, yeah. Let's see here. What if deities were here before humans, but when humans were created and the deities started having children, maybe the deities were born while humans existed, turned out the way they were based on needs of the humans and the world itself. I mean, you could theorize that, but then there's a lot of entities out there that, I'll be honest, they go completely sideways from what you would think humanity would need. But then again, on that same note, let's be honest, humans go completely sideways from what human needs. You're very unlikely to find a light worker these days who actually understands nature and balance. Don't believe me? You ever find a vegan light worker? um, because there's a difference in making a choice to do something because of your personal ethics and then claiming it is how nature does it. Because turn on one documentary on nature and you're going to see how brutal nature is. There is no pacifism in nature. Nature is a brutal mistress. Um, but there is a balance to its brutality, which you don't see amongst a lot of the fluffy bunny loving lighters. But they'll claim that understanding of nature, that balance of nature. So there's definitely a disconnect. Yeah, and see, that's why I specified in there, Red Cap. There is a difference in, like, if you look at me and say, I choose not to eat meat because of an ethical reason. I can't look at a cow, I can't look at a sheep, I can't look at a critter, and I can't think that's my dinner. I get that. I get that. And I can respect that as long as you don't push that on me. That's where we get an issue. I've done some horrible, horrible, horrible things for people who try to get up in my face like that. I really have. Um, so I get that, and that's fine and dandy. I mean, many of you know for health reasons, I went pure carnivore. Is that my choice? No, I love bread and carbs, but for health reasons, I went pure carnivore. And if I went vegan, well, that'd just kill me. So, so I had to change my eating for health reasons. And I have a lot of friends who are still vegan and vegetarians and whatnots. We throw jokes, but there is that difference in there. And like you said, you understand um, how nature works, but you all get what I'm saying here. Let's see, Scarlet Shield. What is advanced glamour magic anyway? Well, glamour magic is the ability to shift, change, or create an illusion around something. That's essentially what it is. Advanced glamour magic is essentially it's a strong glamour. Um, the advanced, I mean, that's pretty much it. All a glamour is creating the illusion of something. So, for example, if I want to, and I've actually done this because I was living in a place at one time where, due to certain events going on at the time, that deals within the political region, so I can't get too spot on with that because we avoid politics here. Um, Anytime I went to town, I just wanted to be left alone. I really did. So I would use glamour magic just to literally not be seen. And the way it essentially would work is this would not only avoid people noticing me, but they would also move around me without even notice I was there. They would unintentionally kind of change their path to avoid me without even recognizing my presence. Now, this is very handy if you want to be left alone. My wife does this a lot because she's not a people person. The downside is if you do this and then you not need the meat guy's help and you holler at him and he don't hear you and you're like, oh crap, because then you're gonna have to kind of let him in there a little bit, because otherwise he ain't gonna help you. Because yeah, but glamour magic is just create an illusion like that. Some people even use glamour magic to create the perceived variation of an eye color. You can do that. Um, though it does require focus. It's not like you can just make people think your eyes are green and it's just going to stay that way permanently. It lasts a very short time after you release the focus. Um, so it's little things like that. The advanced forms of it is just how strong can you do it, how many people, and how long can you hold it. You know. And how much can you alter or perceive alter? Because it's not a literal alter, if that makes sense. It's an illusion. That's all it is. Let's see, Karma, what's the deal with Lucifer? Lucifer is the light bringer. Lucifer brings understanding and enlightenment. He is not a devil. Okay, he is not a devil. In fact, if you actually dive deep into biblical studies, you find out there are multiple entities that they refer to as Satan. Satan's not a name. Satan is actually a title, a moniker for adversary. So anything that they viewed as a spiritual adversary, they would claim stuck that name to. Um, but look, and I mean, pick a religion out there, including paganism. They have an adversarial thing that they're going to throw shade at. Um, Unfortunately, that's just human nature. Lucifer himself, though, deals more with enlightenment and self mastery, self empowerment, and freedom, those kinds of concepts. He's actually a really great guy. In fact, I've never once caught the guy in a lie. He's been very straightforward. He's an amazing guy. So, but he does not bring out the worst in people. Now, that said, though, if part of your enlightenment is actually dealing with your shadow and you refuse to do it, he will drag your shadow to the surface. That's not bringing the worst out in you. That's forcing you to face the things about you that need to be dealt with and healed. That's on you for dragging your feet. Can you glamour yourself into delusion? I would I would have to say so. I mean, we can talk ourselves into delusion. I mean, think of how many people out there are so full of themselves. They've convinced themselves of their own lies. So I would theorize that it's possible. Um, Most individuals who I've worked with who've understood glamour magic had a good handle on it. One of the good parts about glamour magic is since it does take so much focus and willpower to hold the glamour long term, usually the traits that require it to hold long term also are traits that are less inclined to lead person to a delusional outlook. Usually, not always, but usually. So I've not personally ran into anyone who's done it, but in theory, I would hypothesize it's a possibility. So I hope that answers a little bit there. I know that one's a little tricky. But I mean, we can all get delusional in one way or another. That's one reason I like data. I check myself. It's like, Drake, are you an idiot or does the numbers actually add up? You know what I mean? Another reason I love results based practice. Because technically, without results based practice, evocation is literally you sitting down talking to yourself and nothing ever happening. Because if you're not getting results, but you're talking to yourself and you've created this imaginary friend and you're talking to them, you guys having a big old time, but nothing ever happens. You're the same you're living in the basement, you got no money, you're not progressing in your life in any shape, form, or fashion. You are being delusional that you are actually working with an entity or progressing, because even if it's a mental construct, you should be progressing. But if nothing's happening, you're being delusional. So I would agree with that to some extent. No, Lucifer doesn't mince words, but I actually adore the boy for. I love him. Oh, thank you, Maria. Thank you. I think you were talking to me when you said I explained it well. You might have been talking to Loveless, though. I know a few of those people. We all do. Okay, we all do. I think it's human nature to want to view ourselves as the biggest dog in the junkyard, as it were. Um, and there's a difference between just raw, pompous ego and confidence. And a lot of people don't know the difference. They really don't. A confident person, first off, isn't afraid to fail in any shape, form, or fashion. They would actually welcome failure in order because that's an opportunity to grow and learn. Where pompous and egotistical people don't handle failure or critiques at all. If any of y'all ever watched the movie Dodgeball, I think it's a Vince Vaughn film. So like the guy who owns the gym of the, I guess you call them the villain people, that guy is a pompous ego person. And if you haven't watched Dodgeball, go check it out. It's funny as frig. See, Arthur, I've never met Lucifer. I think about him all the time. I want to meet him someday. I won't be working with any other deities until I have that drink because best buds with Thor like ass though. Well, I can say Lucifer is one of the entities we've included within the Spirit Codex in the evocation course. So yeah, he's definitely one you can reach out to in that course. I believe we have some Norse entities, and I'm pretty sure we included Thor. If I didn't, I need to add him, but I'm almost 90% sure I included him. Redcap, I got the message. I'm burning myself out because I'm pushing myself too hard and that my emotions are hitting me too much. Other than grounding / meditation, etc. How do we stop resisting so much? Well, first off, if you're burning yourself out, you need to pull back a little. Believe me, from a workaholic, I am a workaholic. My admin have to make me take Saturdays off. And many of you in the Gilded kind of know I sneak in there still. So yeah, you kind of have to pull back and remember balance. Part of a magical practice is self-care. Our physical well-being will affect our magic. So it is that balance. And if we don't deal with that self-care, if we aren't getting enough sleep, if we aren't eating well, and we are overdoing it and pushing ourselves to the point, you are going to hit the burnout. It's just like going to a gym. You can overdo it to the point you can't move. And even if you're only working out every other day, but if you overdo it to the point you can't work out for 4 or 5 days, and believe me, I've known guys to do this. I've known guys who went and pumped iron and they gave it hell to impress that guy over there who they're just, I don't know why they're trying to impress him. But the next day they went to get out of bed. They couldn't get out of bed. They overdid it. We can do the same thing with our magical practice. And it's a little bit different for everyone. As you build up more and more, you can do more and more, but we can reach that burnout. And there are several factors. There's the amount of that we're actually doing in our working. There's the stressors in our life. There is grounding, shielding, and meditation, but grounding, shielding, and meditation deal with energetic issues as well as keeping outside effects. A shield will not help you avoid you. You can't avoid you. And if you are needing to do shadow work, well, shadow work is one of those things. It sucks. It is hard, especially the first time through, and you will be exhausted. And you may have to actually, many people have to let up on all their other practices to focus on shadow work in order to make sure they're doing self-care along with it. It can happen. So it is very difficult. But it is about that self-care. I mean, we all have our things. I'm epileptic. I actually do have very specific things that hold me back from doing things that I would like to do. Physical injuries and other things also play a part. So each of us has our own balance, but you can't just wave a magic wand and use magic to compensate for your physical well-being. You can't. You cannot. We had this discussion in the Gilded server earlier this week. You have to take your reality into an account to build up your magical practice. So, like, if there's any rituals that deal with strobe lights or whatnot, I don't even consider them. I completely throw them out because I know what a strobe light's going to do to me. And I have to be very careful. I have to look after my well-being. I have to make sure I'm eating well, taking my medicines and all this, because I'll be honest, one seizure could screw my life up. I could lose my driver's license and all kinds of other things. So we have to balance that. Oh, Red Cat, thank you for the super chat. Ooh, we got the unicorn again. That's why I get a lot of people who they ask me, Drake, you recommend not laying down. Well, I have this, or this physical disability, and it hurts unless I'm laying down. Okay, my reason for not wanting people to lay down during meditation is a lot of us fall asleep. But if you are one of these people due to a limitation of some kind, make the adjustment. There is no one true right way or path. Remember, we're results based. We're not, you have to do it my way or else. No, we ain't doing that. So just make the adjustments you need, but look after your self care. I do know plenty of people who's chronically ill that they have to turn it down. They may have to do their practice every other day. Some people have to take 2 days off in between workings. But do what you can and make it a regular pattern, and you will see the progress. Hope that helps you out, mate. Because yeah, Maria was one of the gilded people who was definitely on the verge of burnout. We had to tell her to pump the brakes a little bit. And it's okay to pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Don't go over the cliff. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. See, little Earth Dragon. The times I haven't listened to my Guardian Dragon before and got sent away from home to get better, he was so impatient. Yep. And I mean, it amazes me too. I mean, my co and my guardian, they're just like, don't do that. You're an idiot. I do the thing. And then they're just sitting there like, well, you're out of commission for a week. Do you feel smart? And I'm just like, shut up. But they're right. They told me not to do the thing, but I did the thing because I'm a freaking genius. Actually, I'm an idiot. The best I can say is use it as a learning experience. See, Loveless, I had a 3.5-minute long grand mal seizure in response to the flu shot. I'm not allowed to have them anymore. Screwed me up for a month. Woo! Yeah, grand mals are no fun. No fun at all. Nope. Do not like them. In fact, I would say I didn't really take my epilepsy all that serious until my first grand mal that I recall, because apparently I had grand mals when I was a kid. I was just too young to remember. But that first grand mal that just ran me over like a dump truck, just doing Indy 500 circuits over me. Yep, took that serious. Got with the program real quick. Mm-hmm. Learned my lesson, I did. So I'm with you on that one, Lovis. There ain't no fun. I have no idea. Might be a computer button sticking or something. I don't. We know I hate technology. Hates me. I don't know. Me trying to fix technology. That's kind of funny, ain't it? Oh yeah, I was pretty much in the same boat for a while there, Loveless. I spent a couple of years where couldn't work, couldn't do anything. Um, One of the darkest points of my life, not gonna lie, which is actually one of the reasons I started doing a lot more research and stuff because couldn't do anything else. So I've done a lot of reading. Um, Not a fun point in my life, but looking back, I think I made the best of a bad situation. I'm not going to say it was a good thing, but I do think I made the best of a bad situation by utilizing it to educate myself in other areas that didn't require me to be up and about moving around. Those kinds of things. So, no matter what we do, we kind of got to try to make the best of a bad situation. There's one reason I've taught my daughters, and I also try to teach my students this is the universe and life's job is to knock you down and rub your face in the mud. That is its job, literally, because we learn through adversity. We learn by overcoming the hard stuff. If things are going good, you ain't learning nothing. So their job is literally to pick on you and rub your face in the mud. And I know that sounds awful, but when you approach your daily life with this mentality, then you quickly realize that your job is to overcome and make the best of anything that comes your way. And if you approach every day with that mentality, you slowly see yourself getting better and better and better, and life getting better and better and better for you. It's not that the stressors aren't happening, they're still there. You're just equipping yourself to deal with them. And you're learning the skill set to overcome them quicker. And it's helping you to even grow faster. Um, I know a lot of people don't like hearing that. They want to hear, more sunshines and rainbows and roses and, margaritas on the beach. Don't get me wrong, I love margaritas on the beach. Um, but if we accept that premise, we also open ourselves up to a whole world of self empowerment. And I would trade comfort for self empowerment any day. Yeah. But that's my 2 cents on it. Your mama and dad may have taught you different, and if it's working, keep doing what's working. Scarlet Shield. Do I necessarily have to research esoteric subjects in order to go down the witch's path? Well, that depends on what you mean by the witch's path. If you mean the religion of Wicca, no, you technically just have to research the religion of Wicca, and you have to practice the religion of Wicca, and you're Wicca. Ooh, easy peasy. Some people view that as the witch's path. Other people view the witch's path as dealing with low magic or herbalism and root working and magics that are more here on the physical plane, where you work with the elements and herbs and stuff and candle magics in order to manifest change. Other than what you would need to research to practice candle magic or herbal magics, then no, you wouldn't have to. I know plenty of witches who have a big backing in candle magic and herbalisms and kitchen magic. That is their entire background, and they can manifest things quicker and better than a lot of these witches who basically they're armchair occultists. They sit down, they read it all, but they apply nothing. Okay, they've read it, they intellectually know what's in the book, but they have no hands-on experience, so they can't manifest piss. So no, I mean, you only really have to study the things you actually want to utilize there, Scarlett. Hope that helps a little bit. Loki's, well, it depends on what you mean by petty. Loki's not petty by my definition. Okay, by my definition, he's not petty. Loki is very good at rolling with the punches. He really is. Which is one reason I'm going to love talking about the Volspot and the Havamal, and I want to go into the Locusana too in that series. Loki is all about change. Okay, he's about getting us out of our complacency. Okay, we are really bad creatures of complacency, and if you actually read the Norse myths, you find out the Norse gods are pretty freaking complacent too. And Loki was there to shake it up, get them out of that complacency. Now, does that always mean that everyone's going to be happy? Like, hey, I know you had to smack me upside the face with a fish, Loki, but thanks, you got me up, you got me working, and that helped me out in the long run, so I forgive you. Nope. Most people are pretty much like, screw you, you hit me with a fish. Loki will do things that are going to upset you to break you out of your complacency and to get you moving and growing, because he is first and foremost a god of chaos. Chaos is change. Change and chaos bring growth. You cannot have growth without chaos. And he wants to see that growth happen. And he is very much one. He will sit down and have a logical discussion with you. But the moment you don't listen, Loki's not a let me try this again. No. If Loki's telling you to climb down this cliff that you're camping on, and you say, nope, not going to do it, I'm going to just camp here for 5 days, I'm going to hike back up that way, he's going to dynamite the cliff and drop you off it. You're going down the cliff. He will give you a chance to do so for yourself, and if you do so for yourself, he will even help you along the way. If you don't, then Loki will do what Loki does best and cause some chaos to get you off your complacent butt. But he's not petty about it, at least in my definition. He doesn't usually do things that are just petty and picky, if that makes sense. Oh, I mean, Loki gets really interestingly represented. One of the reasons I want to do the Locusana is I've sat down and have a lot of debates with the Locusana, and perhaps there's a meaning to it that most people have missed. Because when you look at the Eddas as a whole, not just the individual stories, you start to see that Loki and Odin, because it's made very clear Loki and Odin are blood brothers. They took a blood oath. They're not, genetically related. They took a blood oath. And this is a very, very important thing for that culture. This isn't something that's taken lightly. And you start to see that Loki and Odin are aware of things happening that they tend to be working on that no one else seems to care about. So if you read the Eddas from that point of view, you see Loki and Odin are kind of maneuvering to get rid of the complacency. It's hard to explain without going into the Eddas. So hopefully I can make better sense as I do the series. We'll see. Take it easy, Violet Star. Have I ever not seen a vegan light worker? Well, yeah. Actually, I know several light workers who are meat eaters. Actually, I can think of one light worker. We both ordered like the big steak and potato challenge at a steak restaurant one time. Don't really know why we were doing that. I mean, I was hungry. I wasn't that hungry, but what the heck, we'll do stupid. Another particular light worker I can think of, she actually sat down and did the Blazing Wing Challenge with me at B-Dubs. We both got our picture on the wall. Go us. Still proud of that. Which I handle spicy food. Okay, so that was no big deal. I was proud of her. Because to her, Taco Bell mild is hot. And to me, that tastes like water. So watching her sit down, step up to the table, take on that challenge, and put away those blazing wings. To people who do spicy like 24/7, I get it. Blazing wings may not register high for you, but to watch someone put their money where their mouth is and step up to a challenge like that, I was right proud of her. I really was. I was very, very proud of her. Dragon of the West, what is necromancy and how is it practiced? Necromancy is essentially the working with spirits, period, in any shape, form, or fashion. If you work with spirits for any reason at all, you are performing necromancy. If you talk to your ancestors, that's necromancy. You pray to your ancestors, that's necromancy. You ask your ancestors for answers, for divination, for advice, for guidance, that's necromancy. Necromancy is essentially working with the dead in any fashion at all. So how it is practiced by working with spirits of humans, ancestors, and the like. That is it. Now, that in that description, there are broad methodologies, broad. And if I were just to start naming them all off, it would be 2023 before I finished, and Jade's already throwing clocks at me, so that's not going to happen tonight. Thank you for throwing clocks at me, Jade. We do all appreciate that. Are you able to work with dwarves and elves to help with making things and forging? Yes, actually, you can. One of the things that is going to be in the Norse course is the dark elves, or the Svartalfheim of Svartalfheim, the Smart Elfland of Svartalfheim. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And you can actually work with them to help you in improving your ability to craft. They can also help you in your ability with enchantments and stuff like that. I adore working with the Dark Elves. The elves, their craftsmen do differ from time to time, but you can still work with them. It depends on what you're working with. I generally prefer working with the Dark Elves or the dwarves from the Norse myths. but you can work with entities to help with your craftsmanships and stuff like that. Definitely. So yeah. All right, everybody, we have clicked over and we have made it to the end of another magical coffee hour. You guys have been fantastic. I do appreciate you all humoring me in my ranting. I know a few of these questions I do occasionally get to ranting on, blah, 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 yakety schmackety, but I do try to do my best as I do it. Um, and try to lay it out for you in the most authentic way that I can. I am by no means perfect. Thank God, because life would be really boring if I was. I'm still learning. We're still growing. And remember, if you ever find anyone who says they have mastered it all, turn around, walk away. They're full of shit. None of us have it all figured out. None of us have it all mastered. We are all still growing and learning. And in fact, the gods themselves, should they be individual entities, we'll joke on what we talked about earlier, they themselves are still learning and growing too. So be willing to make a mistake. It is a good thing. It is a learning experience. Embrace it. Dust yourself off, get back up, figure out what you can do different, figure out how you can avoid that pitfall the next time. Make yourself a better person for whatever it is that knocks you down. I learned this the hard way. Many of you, as you probably guessed, it was due to my epilepsy or whatnot, really shut me down, put me on a commission. And actually, like the very next year, my back injury threw me down. I mean, it was pathetic. It was just like, um, and hands down, all my going downs was due to my stupidity. Um, but we do have to take the mistakes, we have to take the downswings, and we have to do the best we can to move with them and learn from them and do better moving forward always. All right. Now, you all have a fantastic week. We do have a video coming out Tuesday. We should see. I'm going to try and start doing at least one short a week. So hopefully you'll be seeing another short of me saying something. Who knows what I'll be saying then. And once we start recording the reading, the round table readings, those will not be placed on a Tuesday. So we will actually be getting an extra video to compensate for that section, that series that we're going to be doing. I will say it is storm season, and we have had some internet connection issues, so we're going to keep the streams going, but do bear with me through the stormy season because y'all know the internet can get wonky. Bear with me. All right. Until next time, take it easy. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.